Have you ever been interested in a company that had a lot of very good tools and a competitor comes out and produces something better, something they doesn't have? You think this company will respond, but then what they release tends to be pretty poor. It doesn't live up to standard. That is what happened the first time I used Google's AI system, which is called Bard when it first came out. It's since been renamed to Gemini. Even Gemini itself doesn't feel as good as ChatGPT when I use it for the type of activities I use it for. But they have released something which I think is a game changer, something that I find very useful and something that is free. So let's get into the wonderful, fantastic tool which is called Notebook LM from Google. Notebook LM is a new interface for you to actually use their AI engine. It is different because it has a lot of good support tools in it, and it does one feature I think is absolutely brilliant. Well, let me describe when you first go into it. So when you open up Notebook, you go click on plus create new, and it brings up this really nice interface about adding sources into it. And this really builds on the strengths of that is Google itself and all the different platforms it actually runs within its system. So like ChatGPT, Claude, the other ones, it's got options there to upload sources. But what it also does is it links within the Google infrastructure. So you've got option to upload from your Google Drive, Google Documents, and Google Slides. In the link page, you can link in websites as well as YouTube videos. And under paste text, obviously it's traditional pasting text. The features I really like out of it is linking a YouTube video. So this means you can link a YouTube video that you say you want to use in your classroom and put that into the system. And because Google owns YouTube and Google owns Notebook LM, the two work seamlessly together. So what I like to do, just say I'm thinking of doing a video on a documentary. What I can do then is link that video into Notebook LM, and it'll actually give me full access to the video. One thing I like to do if I'm going to develop questions around for students to use the video is ask it to do a transcription for me on the entire video. And that is absolutely brilliant. It will give you an exact transcript of the video and all what's said within it. And therefore you can develop questions based on that information. You can skim through, you can then ask Notebook LM, say, give me 10 questions relevant to a history student or an English student or a geography student or a maths student or science into that, and it'll give you those 10 questions and ask it to extract the answers from the video as well. So you can answer key very quickly and easily because the two are integrated together. It is absolutely fantastic. 3 panes they've organized into. First pane, it's called sources, where you add all your resources in, and you can add more than one. The middle one's your chat pane, similar to what you get in Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, and all the standard AI tools. The third pane's called Studio. Studio, I think, is absolutely fun and fantastic because this allows you to actually build a podcast from the content you uploaded. And this is not just YouTube content, it's also any other material you upload. And it produces a video with a male and female commentator discussing content or the video or the material you've uploaded into Notebook LM into a podcast discussion format. And this is a really good way, particularly if you've got low literacy students that's engaged, they don't want to read a lot of content. You can upload your materials into here and then create a podcast for them to listen to. So if they have trouble reading, low literacy, they can listen to the content. So what I'm going to do is give you a demonstration verbally. Okay. So what I'm going to do is an example of a workflow. So I've gone to my website, which is udemylearning.com, and which I create educational resources. I've got a page on there which I've written about medieval siege warfare as information for students to access and learn about medieval siege warfare. And on that page, I've just got a whole lot of text and explanation. I've linked it into Notebook LM, and I'm going to hit generate to create this audio podcast conversation about the page. So if I read a little bit, it says siege warfare was a medieval military operation involving the surrounding and blockading of a town, castle, or fortress by an army in an attempt to capture it. To lay siege or to besiege, the term derives from the medieval word siege from the old French meaning of blockade. So it's that information. It's very factual. It's aimed at high school students to get information and links into worksheets that I sell through TPT. The idea is I started creating these because I was linking the resources online and they were disappearing. But anyway, let's see what happens. So what it's doing at the moment is I've clicked to generate. So what it's doing, it's generating a conversation content based on the content of the web page. And you can do this for any source that you upload to it. Okay, it's ready. So that took about 5 minutes to generate it from this website. Let's see what it sounds like.
Now, when you think medieval warfare, maybe you picture knights charging on horseback. Forget that for a moment. For centuries, the real grind, the decisive stuff, was all about taking and holding fortifications. Less glamorous, sure, but way more important. We're digging into material from Yugen Learning today to get why siege warfare wasn't just common, it was, well, arguably the main event in a pretty violent medieval world.
That's spot on. Yeah, understanding the Middle Ages, the power shifts, it really means understanding sieges. So our goal today is to break down why this was so dominant, what made these long drawn out.
Can skip forward a bit?
Had to take strongholds. They were the keys to power.
And these places, the castles, the walled towns.
So that is actually a fantastic resource that you can create with AI for free using Notebook LM. Now you can do it on other platforms, but Notebook LM does it really well. And it puts those two voices in there and they actually sound very good. So that is just a really powerful, simple tool that you can actually use with any resource you got in digital format. There's things like creating a study guide, which comes a whole lot of different questions based upon that. You also can create briefing documents, timelines, frequently asked questions. So I look at the study guide. It's similar to what you do when you build a quiz. It'll give you a whole lot of short questions, some essay style questions, some glossary of terms, and then it'll give you the answer key based on that. So that allows me to convert that information, generate that information very quickly. It's no different than actually just making a study guide in something like ChatGPT or another source. You can do a briefing document that will create a summary document for you within the system. And that'll create a summary. It'll list the sources coming out of it. So it's really good if you're getting information from a couple of different sources. Gives you the main themes, different perspectives, and that also give you key facts and figures and gives you a conclusion. So it's a nice summary document, more so as a teacher's tool. So if you've got a lot of content and you want to summarize it down as a part of a teacher's notes or information, that's a very good tool for that as well. Also can create FAQs and timelines depending on the content you're uploading. Now, one really fun thing is to do with this is actually give yourself a real personal professional boost. What I did as an experiment, I uploaded my resume. So the resume obviously is what you put together when you're applying for a job, says all your successes, all your challenges. I actually dropped this into Notebook LM and asked it to create a podcast about me, and it did. I suggest you should do it. Give it a try, see what it's like. It gives you a fantastic 10 to 20 minute podcast of how wonderful you are and how much you've achieved. It's really good for yourself. It's good to reinforce the good work that you're doing in the classroom. So give that a go. It's a lot of fun hearing someone else talk about you in a really positive way. I'm going to leave you there today. Remember, share the podcast to any teachers interested in AI. It is becoming and will become a very important tool within our professional career. So subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to get some feedback. Hopefully another 5-star rating. Get online to Apple Podcasts. Leave a comment, leave a review. Hopefully give me 5 stars like the one I've got already. So, till next episode, enjoy your walk, your cuppa, or your drive while you're listening to this, and keep up the good work.